on one hand, you have like, you're becoming the queen of the night, right? You got like the nightlife, you got the pictures going on, you got the cigars. But on the other hand, like you're really on some community development stuff. So where do you see yourself in 20 years? I mean, obviously, both of these worlds, you're juggling them right now. But 20 years from now, where do you optimally see yourself?
So, just ultimately, like, I'm an immigrant in this country. I'm an immigrant in this country. I'm not, I feel like every politician in here, in Atlanta is a lawyer. Everybody done gone to Morehouse. Everybody done gone to whatever. I have always been a huge, and my support, and I do believe that my support and my words and my platforms hold a certain amount of weight in how I'm able to relate to people. Mm-hmm. And I relate in how I relate to my audience is how I relate to certain politicians, right? So I lend my support to some very unique people. When it was the mayoral race, I stood behind Michael Sterling because I interacted with him on a couple of different occasions, right? On some other things. And I had a very candid conversation with him because I'm like, well, and he had not been married to Eva yet, right? But she was on you're dealing with this reality TV star and this model. And I just had to ask the burning question, like, what that everybody had on their heart. And this man sat there outside of, because he came in there asking for our support. And he sat out there and thought I was worthy of an answer, an honest answer. And that I just felt he has so much integrity. I could do nothing but throw 110% behind him. And it was kind of a house divided at that time. Caesar Mitchell was the heir apparent, in the mayoral race. And that's who everybody had kind of stood behind. And I stood behind Michael Sterling because I valued our relationship and I valued that conversation outside of Habanos. And I just knew that he could do, I believed in the Atlanta that he could sort of lead us into. When he dropped out of the race, I went to Keisha Bottoms. I asked the same difficult questions. Like, I was just like, is it important for you to be approachable? As a woman, you seem very closed off and very reserved. And she, again, like we were at, it's the bar out in Midtown across from, I can't tell you. It was a Keisha Bottoms event, and I'd asked her the question and she looked us in the eye and she was able to answer it. And I think that level of confidence and that she inspired in me, I threw my weight behind her as well. Most recently, I supported Antonio Brown for city council. And again, I know that's he's also a very different candidate on city council, right? Like, and I have very, I don't know, I choose people because I feel like I choose people for whatever reason I believe is, important for me. But I'm a huge support system and I'm a voice for people in the community and I'm a voice for them. And I'm able to sort of take their message and deliver it to my platform. And even if, you don't stand by the candidate that, I believe, should be in a position to be able to have a conversation with people and to sort of spark that conversation and get people to do a little bit more research and just get people more involved from anything from standing behind a politician or a candidate to a community cleanup is to rally, to get people out and about and involved is important for me. And I really think that that's currently my role. 20 years from now, I will probably be serving the city of Atlanta at a higher level. I'm currently working on a project with my ex, again, with the city of Atlanta. That's going to sort of unveil itself and sort of present itself in a few months or so, maybe even in 2021 in the beginning of January. But it has to kind of do with, just really strengthening businesses in this restaurant, in this food and beverage space, in the hospitality scene, and providing them with resources, affording them and educating them on, compliance and standards, just really sort of tightening us up There's no reason that we can't have Buckhead Life Group. There's no reason that we can't be the next Ford Fry. Some of these chefs out here and behind the scenes, these executive chefs, Chef Tony Mann, Chef Scott Lee Innes, like these African-American chefs, Chef Asha Gomez, this Indian chef, like there's some dope chefs out here. There's some great personalities out here that deserve platforms just like Ford Fry does, like Kevin Gillespie does, like all these white boys do. Like, and I don't have a problem saying that. And, you know, I think, you know, there's some people that receive it a certain way. There's some people we can't be bothered with that anymore. We can't be afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. And I don't think we can be afraid anymore. We can't hide behind a lot of this decorum and this shit that we developed to kind of silence people, because it's a farce, or it's just a fallacy. It's just like, you know, method of control. And that's something I fight a lot of as well. Like, you see a little bit of that feminist movement in me as well. Like, you know, just people like, you're in the community, you're a mom, you got this page called Sex and the Cigar, you got some racy pictures, but you're telling people that your racy pictures doesn't allude to the fact that, you know, and I'm like, yeah, it all makes sense to me. Does it not make sense to you? But, you know, just if you would just not try to kind of box me in and figure me out, and just start to follow the journey with me, I believe I can take people, you know, it's my leadership. I do believe that I'm in a position of leadership. Mm-hmm. I'm not certain like how we can kind of define it, but I do believe, like, you know, I take people where I go. Like, I take people, and I believe in, like, you know, again, that's what Atlanta Hospitality Collective is. You build a platform. I'm not the marketing girl. I've seen it. When I saw your proposal, when I saw your brand strategy, when I saw your outline, like, you know, this is how we go about it. When we had those conversations, I was like, okay, well, we have a guy, you know, let me refer you. Let me tell you, like, you know, a little bit about him. Like, let me introduce you to Chanel. You need a photographer? Let me tell you about Paul. Actually, just look up what you got over here about Paul.